Want to work less and sell more? Welcome to the Webinar Hustlers Entrepreneur Podcast, the podcast to help you scale up and take your business to the next level with webinars that sell for you. Each episode focuses on the money mindset, online marketing, and sales strategies to get you more leads and convert leads to sales, all with webinars. And now your host, business and webinar strategist, April Reed.
Now, if you've been in business for some time now, I'm sure you heard how Facebook Live can benefit your business and make you more visible to your audience. So in this episode today, I want to talk about the 6 ways to make sure your Facebook Live is not a total disaster. Now, this reminds me of my first few Facebook Lives I did in 2016. As a matter of fact, I don't like going Facebook Live. Let's just put it out there. Total transparency. I do not enjoy going Facebook Lives. Now, it's one of those situations where if I get in the groove, I'm more comfortable, but I really don't like doing them. And I think it stemmed from a couple of years ago when I was working in corporate America. I had a really huge job to do. I was a supervisor, and one of these assignments, I had to fly out east and manage a very prestige high meeting where I was going to be surrounded by educated doctors and directors and a CEO. So I was chosen for the job, and I went out there and I delivered my best. I ran the meeting and I thought it was a real success. I knew what I was doing. I knew what I was talking about. And when I flew back home, I was feeling good about the entire experience. I mean, I even got good reviews from the people that were there. However, the next day, I received a call from my boss, the one who had picked me for this particular assignment. And apparently, not everybody enjoyed me running the show. The number one thing that they were complaining about was the fact that I do not pronounce my words effectively, and I am surrounded by highly prestige educated people, and that it's jaw-wrenching to hear me talk. Oh my gosh, I was devastated. I mean, yeah, I know. I mean, I don't think I sound horrible, but yeah, I admit I don't say certain words probably how they should be spoken. I say project. I don't say project. It's just, I don't know. I'm from the country. I'm from the Midwest, okay? My Midwesters, are you out there? Do you feel me? So I've never heard of such a thing. And to top it all off, they asked my boss, could she replace me with somebody else? Could they find somebody else? Ouch, talk about a punch in the gut. I mean, think about it. That's typically like being fired. Now, my boss had faith in me. She knew I knew my stuff. And so she said, well, we're not going to replace you, but maybe you can learn how to pronounce your words a little better. And you know what? At first, when you're first hearing this, you're like, yeah, you know, I guess so. I didn't think I sounded so horrible and terrible. And even she was like, oh no, you sound fine. I don't even really know what they were talking about. And so here I am feeling like crap. I mean, the things we go through with corporate America, right? Trying to change how I talk. And I basically was like, bucket. You know, forget it. I'm not going to change. I mean, this is too difficult. This is too hard. This is too tough to try to change who I am inside or even how I speak. They didn't hire me to talk like I have 8 degrees. They didn't hire me to talk as if I had more degrees than a thermometer. They hired me to go out there, run a great meeting, which I did, and get their program in shape, which I did. But I have to admit, it kind of scarred me because ever since then, not so much on this podcast because I've done so many episodes, I don't really think about it as much. But when I do Facebook Lives where I know people are going to be looking at me and seeing me and all over the world, even those same people that are probably on that end of the United States are going to be listening to me. It's like, oh my gosh, am I going to sound stupid to them? Am I going to sound like I'm dumb? Am I going to sound weird because I don't pronounce my words like they pronounce their words? I mean, am I going to be judged because I say pop and not soda? Basically, that kind of thing. So it's really hard for me to go Facebook Live. That is something I'm struggling with, to go live consistently, because it's such an energy drainer to go on Facebook Live. And no matter what I'm talking about, no matter what I'm teaching, no matter what the vibe is, that is a constant forefront on my mind. Oh my gosh, I have to make sure I'm pronouncing this right. Did I pronounce that right? And yeah, so this is something I really, really have to work through, because I do want to serve my audience, but it's difficult. It's tough, especially when people judge you or say things that are just nuts. Yeah, I said it. There's just nuts. So with that said, that's just the reason why I don't go live as much as I would love to. I'm still working through it. I would love to go live twice a week. And if you see me live on my Facebook page or my Facebook group, show me some love. All right. Now, with that said, I want to give you 6 tips, strategies, or ways that you can make sure that your Facebook Live is not going to be a total disaster, which I wouldn't say my first Facebook Live was a total disaster, but I did make a few mistakes. Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 mistakes that I did and 3 things that I did right. Well, actually, let me talk about the 3 things I did right. Okay, so the first thing I did right, for my first initial Facebook Lives, I chose a topic I knew like the back of my hand. I wasn't going to make things complicated. I was already had the imposter syndrome. I don't know enough. I'm not an expert. How dare I call myself an expert? So I said, you know what? I'm going to pick a topic I am an expert on. And my first topic was my own personal mistakes. So if you have not taken the plunge yet and done a Facebook Live for yourself, maybe you've been in business for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You just haven't leveraged the whole Facebook Live thing or the Insta stories or any situation where you have to be on live video and you're getting that live feed. Try using a personal story as your first topic and as it relates to your business. So I was a business coach, so it was my personal mistakes that I made in my business when I was just starting out and what I learned from them. So if anybody had any questions, because I was always worried, like somebody's going to ask me a question and I'm not going to know the answer. It's my own personal mistakes. Of course I know the answer. It's about me. Okay. The second thing I did right was I created a script, or you can create some kind of an outline and you just follow that along. And I also practice through that script over and over and over again. Now, actually, that's a double-edged sword, and I will get into that when I talk about the 3 things I did wrong. But second is having a script or outline so you can see the flow of your Facebook Live and leave out all the extra fluff. Okay, the third thing I did right was I asked my friends and family to show up on the live at the day and time so that they could give me support. Because there's nothing more weird and uncomfortable than to be on a Facebook Live and there's nobody there and you see the view count as 0. And it's like, okay, why am I doing this? I already don't like it. It's already uncomfortable. Why am I standing here? So I had my friends and family hop on those first few lives so they can send me likes, send me hearts, give me encouragement. And that really helped me along, especially since I was already nervous. Okay. Now let's get into the 3 things I did wrong, because I just didn't really know any better and nobody I saw was teaching how to do Facebook Lives. Okay. So the first thing I did wrong was I tried to memorize my script. Yeah, I tried to memorize the thing because I would see Amy Porterfield and James Wedmore and Caitlin Batcher and all these amazing people just go on Facebook Lives, and they were so poised and perfect in every way. And I thought, oh my gosh, they're either reading a teleprompter or they memorized everything, or maybe they just know their content. But it was like, I'm going to have to memorize what I'm going to say because they're not like looking around at their notes or anything. So I tried to memorize my script, and it really was embarrassing for me to kind of glance down at my notes. I was like trying not to glance because I thought that's how the gurus were doing it, that they just knew their content like the back of their hand, or they had their stuff memorized. Come to find out, once I drew attention away from memorizing my content and I went back to look at James Wedmore or Amy Porterfield, and I saw, well, wait a minute, they are glancing at their notes. I didn't notice that before. And then somebody even told me, like, no, you don't memorize, you have notes, and you just look at your notes and you talk. And I'm like, what? So that's one of the things I did wrong, because I was so like obsessed and I had anxiety that I'm trying to look at my notes and I couldn't be perfect. Maybe that's mistake 1-B, trying to be perfect. Okay, the second thing that I did wrong was not sticking to my Facebook Live topics. So at the beginning of the month, I would choose the 4 topics I was going to do that month. Or if it was, maybe if Thursday had 5 Thursdays in that month, then 5 topics. Well, about the day before, actually, you know what? Probably the morning of, I wouldn't feel so energized to do the topic I had written down. And I would just totally pick a new topic the hour or two before, jotted down my outline. Now, obviously, this was when I got over the whole memorization thing. I couldn't imagine trying to memorize a topic I just wrote an hour before. But anyway, I wasn't feeling the topic that I had came up with the idea 2 or 3 weeks ago. So off the cuff, I would just talk about whatever I was feeling that day. And this made it very hard to stay consistent because it was like I was putting more work on myself. Every hour, because eventually it caught up with me, but every hour, because I didn't feel like doing the live I had planned on doing, I would drain myself emotionally because now I have to think of a topic that I am excited about. Now I got to figure out, okay, let me think of 3 teaching points or 5 teaching points. Okay, what am I going to teach? Okay, now I need an example. What kind of example do I need? And it just made Facebook Live very daunting because every week I didn't have content ready. I mean, I did, but I refused to use it. So every week I didn't have content ready. And it just made Facebook Lives that I don't already enjoy even more unenjoyable. And it even added to the problem of me not staying consistent as I would have liked. Okay. The third thing that I did wrong when I was first starting out with my Facebook Live was I didn't have a designated Facebook Live recording area. Now, the issue with that is I'm not going to say maybe you have to have a designated Facebook Live recording area, but it was a mistake for me because it was just one more thing I had to worry about an hour before I went live. Okay, where am I going to go live today? Where is the lighting going to be good? Because, I tend to like to go in the kitchen, but sometimes if it was a gloomy day, a rainy day, the lighting would be off. Sometimes I'll be in the basement. I have photography lighting, so I'll always have to drag it with me, put it away. And it was, again, so can you imagine? So I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I'm coming up with a topic off the cuff an hour before I go live. And I got to figure out where I'm going to go live today. And I'm going to have to figure out where to set up my phone. And it was just a hot mess. It was no wonder I had problems doing the same thing over and over and over again. Consistency. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so those are the 3 things I did good, which were 1, I chose a topic I knew really, really well, especially in the very beginning of my Facebook Lives. I chose to just talk more personally from my experience and how it related to my topic. The second thing I did was, instead of using a script, I created an outline instead with bullet points. The third thing I did was I made sure Facebook friends or Facebook relatives were available during the time I was going to go live. So I just wasn't talking to a dead audience and feeling all anxious and anxiety and weird. And so that they could like and comment and encourage me to keep going. Now, the three things I did wrong was, one, I tried to memorize the script when I was writing the whole script. Second, I didn't stick to the topics I had scheduled for the month, making it harder on myself. And third, I didn't have a designated area that I could just keep up, or even if I had to tear it down, just having a designated area and a setup that I could set up in like 2 minutes. I didn't have that. I was all over the place. I was outside. I was in the backyard, unstable. Sometimes I was in my car. Sometimes I was at a park. I was all over the place, and that just made it so daunting and terrible and weird. Okay, so there you have it. Now, just real quick, I'm going to give you some more tips for going live if this is, something that you're struggling with, or maybe you've done your first live, but that second one still feels kind of weird. Okay, so get comfortable. Number one, get comfortable on camera. Now, before I just started going live, what I did was I got myself acclimated to talking into my phone. So I did recordings. I would record myself talking, and then I would upload the recording on Facebook. That way I could do the recording over and over and over again. And about time I made it to recording 4, I was just like, you know what? I don't care how many buts, and likes I said. I'm sick of doing this thing. I'm uploading it. And that got me accustomed to standing, talking into the phone, uploading it to Facebook, and hearing myself and watching others respond. So yes, I was kind of triggered, but it was a slow process. It was that first step. And then once I was kind of sort of comfortable with doing the recording, it allowed me to push myself to go ahead and do a Facebook Live. I don't think I could have ever just went from 0 to Facebook Live. I had to find that middle ground where I went from 0 to, okay, here's a recording that I recorded like 15,000 times and upload that. Okay, so the second tip, if you're just starting out, is stand up, loosen up. Like I'm standing right now so I can bring in more energy into this podcast episode, because you're just listening to me. You're not seeing me. I'm being animated. I'm moving my hands around. You can't see that. And most of the times I find just sitting and listening to anyone talk is just plain boring. So if you're sitting down, your energy is going to be low. Stand up, maybe even do some jumping jacks or dance right before you do your Facebook Live, just to boost up that energy and give you some drive. Step number 3 is research your audience likes and dislikes. Now, in the beginning, maybe you don't have a huge following, or maybe you do. Maybe you do. Like I say, you've been in business for a while. You just never tried the Facebook Live thing. So ask questions. What is it that they want to hear? It's so much better and more energizing for you, and you're not going to be as scared when you know without a shadow of a doubt that you're speaking on a topic that they said they wanted to hear about. And you're not just up there talking about something wondering, do they care less about what I have to say? You know that they care because they just told you. So researching your audience likes and dislikes is fabulous. Okay, and then number 4, don't save the best for last. Now, I've been on lives where they're about 45 minutes to an hour long. And in the beginning, I was doing them that long because I just didn't know any better. And they're full of fluff, and there's chit chat, and there's chatty chat. And what did I do yesterday? And what did I, whatever. And hello, I'm just going to wait around and wait for people to hop on and blah, 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 blah. And then 15 minutes into the Facebook Live, then we go into the meat of the topic at hand. Okay, people are busy. You want to hop on live. You want to do like a 1-minute introduction, and then you just want to go right into your topic. Now, if you do want to just kind of set the groove and set the tone and say, hey, and all that, this is just my personal opinion. Do that at the end so people who want to hop off can hop off. Once I learned, that's what I was saying. It's like, okay, this is what I had for you today. Now I want to talk about something else, and this is what I want to talk about. But as far as the teaching point or what I came on here to do, or what you came on here to listen to, I said that in the beginning. You can hop off right now if you want to, but I'm going to talk about this. Now, I don't know, maybe somebody advised against that. I know I transitioned to having my Facebook Lives 10 to 15 minutes, but again, this was in the beginning when I was just learning, and I thought you had to be on Facebook Live for 45 minutes. What we don't know when we're just starting out, but we learn, right? Nobody just hops on there and knows everything. We learn. So if you are doing Facebook Lives for 30 minutes, which I think 30 minutes is a long time to be teaching 3 teaching points, but if you're on there 30 minutes, preferably everything that they need to know is at the beginning. So when you go into housekeeping rules or whatnot, unless housekeeping rules are extremely important, basically all I'm saying is whatever you extremely want your audience to know, because we're all busy, do that at the beginning. And then at the end, if you want to get into what happened during your weekend, then so be it. Now, I do like to share a short story in the beginning of my lives, but we're talking 2 or 3 minutes, but it's not the first 15, 20 minutes of fluff. Okay, so I want to know if this was helpful for you. Who here has listened to this, hasn't gone live, and now has done their first live and found this advice helpful? Who here has already did their first live, listened to this episode, and found it helpful to help them do their second? Who here learned something new? Who here already knew this, but it was a reminder and it triggered them to go do it again? Who here has additional tips and tricks about Facebook Live to share? I want to hear it. All you have to do is go to www.aprilreed.com/40. And I'm so excited to talk to you next week. Bye. Hey, you. Have you been liking this podcast and all the webinar strategies that you're receiving? Well, I want to tell you about my new membership site. Maybe you're just a coach, consultant, or other service-based business owners like a VA or a graphic designer, and you really want to add webinars into your marketing mix so that you can sell your high-ticket coaching program or your high-ticket offers. The top 3 things that I hear from coaches, consultants, and service-based business owners is that they don't know what to teach on the webinar, so they're struggling with learning what their topic is going to be. They are technophobes, so they're scared about all the tech, and webinars seem complicated. Well, I'm happy and proud to say that the new membership site is going to address all 3 of those issues and a whole lot more. So if you're looking for the support and the accountability that you need to finally get your webinar in front of the eyes of hundreds and even thousands at an affordable price, then go to www.aprilreed.com/waitlist. Enrollment is open only 2 times per year. So what are you waiting for? And I can't wait to see you there.
Thanks for listening to the Webinar Hustlers Entrepreneur Podcast at www.aprilreed.com.